Rotsun is back, baby!
And this time, we got turbo 5-liter power!
Finally, we're bringing back the Rotsun, our 1971 Datsun 240Z that has never failed to fail, and nevertheless has become the world's most famous rust bucket. Let's review. Cast your mind back to episode 25, our big project car shootout. This was the very first time you had ever seen the Rotsun. We had just picked it up and gotten it running with a little Chevy 4.3-liter V6, but the fuel pump died, and the battery fell into the header and melted, and we couldn't race the thing.
Stupid Roadkill.
But then in episode 26, we came back and we boosted it with a Power Stroke diesel turbocharger, and we headed out to the autocross at a Good Guys event in Arizona. And the thing was epic. I mean, you've never seen a 240Z smoke this much. But it held together until on the way home, we were doing some donuts in the dirt, hit too much RPM, the lifters went too far out of their bores, we lost oil pressure, and we completely killed the engine. With a brand new 4.3 under the hood, we headed out to the Subaru Challenge in episode 32. And unfortunately, the fan belt fell off, it overheated really bad, and the V6 was toast again.
This car, cursed.
Then came episode 41. It was supposed to be the Dragwar versus the Rotsun, with Randy Popes driving at Willow Springs International Raceway. But then, the Rotsun was making hideous noises, the transmission was junk, and we couldn't race it again. And finally, it was the Rotsun's crowning moment. The 24 Hours of Lemons endurance race, and we had fully prepped this car. It had a roll cage, it had the tune-up, it had the wheels and tires, and then we put Tony Angelo in the car and he was ripping it up on the track until the engine died and we couldn't get it running.
Do it! The engine's dead seized.
We took the thing back home and found out the crankshaft had broken in two. We are never gonna let that V6 hurt us again. With the V6 gone, never to hurt us again, we needed a new drivetrain for the Rotsun, and I've always had this scheme about buying an early Fox Body 5-liter Mustang, yanking the guts out of it, and putting it into the car, and I think it's a pretty good plan. We bought this 87 with factory forged pistons for $1,500, and it makes only 225 horsepower from the factory, but it should be a lot better than that with boost. And at this point, there's no way to have a Rotsun without boost. So the V6 is dead, and we got our first Ford on Roadkill, and what are we gonna do? rip it apart and put the engine in the Rotsun.
Yes, but first, let's test the drivetrain for the Rotsun bike driving next to it.
I think we should, because Lucky bought this for us. You never know what could be up with it.
I think 5,000 is a good place to start.
6, yeah.
Oh, it does good donuts.
5.0s are really good for this. This will be really good in the Rotsun.
Yeah, imagine all of this torque in that lightweight little car.
Oh, it's gonna be great. That's good.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd say it's worthy.
yeah, I think we can throw away the wrapper and keep the nougat. Let's see how she pulls.
Ooh, is the clutch soft?
Clutch is soft.
Yeah, that's a bummer. This thing will be amazing in the Rotsun.
Clutch kind of sucks.
Yeah. Why is smoke still pouring out from under it? It's pouring steam. It blew a hose somewhere.
You think?
Yes, it might be on fire.
Well then, our work here will be done.
Look.
All I did was a burnout.
Welcome back to Hot Rod Garage. Minus a couple guys who should be doing all the work. Now, ready?
Yeah.
Tear the guts out of this thing, throw it into that thing. I think it's good to go, but we got to figure out water leak.
That's my fault.
Smells like antifreeze already.
Well, I'm betting the leak's not that bad. At least not enough that it would prevent us from taking this unreliable engine and putting in that car to replace that unreliable engine.
I'm calling freeze plug.
That would suck.
That's my bet. The other thing about this engine is that if you really put a lot of boost to it and make 500 horsepower, the 5-liter block will split in half. And working on the Rotsun, I just wanted to make sure we had something that could go drastically wrong. Pluck it.
Now, will this fit in that?
Take the hood off, let's drop it in there. Oh, that big water leak, just that heater hose. These things are famous for having the heater core fail and you have to take like 3/4 of the car apart to fix them. So somebody just bypassed it and the hose failed. Seems like we're getting to the installing the engine pretty early in the process.
That's because we're so good at this after 5 seasons.
All right, I've got the shifter down in the tunnel. Oh man, it's just installing itself.
Eat it, eat it.
All we need to do is get the jack under the back. Wow, that oil pan's gonna fit. Oh, look at that. It's meant to be.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. Wow.
Dude, it has almost as much room as the other motor did.
Now that's gonna be a problem for like changing the clutch in the car.
We'll blow up the block before we ever need a clutch.
Probably true. Well, the shifter was hitting the tunnel in the wrong place, but fortunately I had this quick release panel and a massive hole already cut in the floor, so we're set. Now we can center this up and get to mounting the engine. Now we know the engine's going to physically fit in there, but we need to make sure that it is level and that it is tilted properly fore and aft and that the drive shaft angle is going to work from the tail shaft of the transmission back to the rear end. So there's just a lot of measuring and centering and leveling to do at this point. And once we do, we're going to start building engine mounts and a trans cross member. There was a lot of fiddling around to get the engine in the car. You have to think of a lot of stuff. We finally got it perfect, so we're ready to weld up some mounts. Finnegan's working on the transmission cross member, and I'm gonna start making some motor mounts right here. I used the stock one as a template, and we will be building solid motor mounts, no rubber, all the better to break things with. I have news that won't surprise you at all.
Oh, yeah?
Bolts are broken off in the motor mount holes on both sides.
What?
Yeah, are you comfortable with mounting it with one bolt per side?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Lower your standards. You'll never be disappointed.
Yep, lower your standards until they beat the car's reality. So you can see underneath there how the bolt has not only been broken out, but somebody's ground a slot in it, hoping to get it out with a screwdriver, which is never gonna happen. So I'm gonna mount each side of the engine with one bolt.
It's done. We can now permanently mount the transmission, or at least it'll be semi-permanent because we still got to take the trans back out and put a clutch in it whenever that arrives. But for now, this will locate the trans and we can order our new drive shaft. Progress.
Okay, so these little plates bolt to the engine. Now I have to make tubes that go down to the frame. Solid engine mounts. This is my engine mount. This bolts to the bottom of the engine. This goes down to the frame. Then we're also going to reinforce it down that way. Now we have to take the engine out so we can finish weld all the engine mounts. Plus we need to put a clutch on this thing and put it all back together. But this probably won't be the last in and out before we're done.
This might be the most angle I've ever seen on an engine coming out of a car.
It's pretty extreme.
I don't know that this is going to work.
Yeah, I asked.
Because I don't think this is going to go high enough.
You'll be picking up the transmission. Yeah, you're gonna have to pick it up. We always do things the hard way for no reason.
Blame myself for this.
Me too. Ready? Oops.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I almost let it go and smash the grill. Okay, let her down. Okay. Oh, you gacked the brake line?
Oh no, it was already nicked, so I just cut it in half to get it out of the way. I didn't actually believe there would be brake fluid in it because it's the Rotsun.
So now we also have to bleed the brakes, add that to the list. And make a new line. I've got the passenger side engine mount all handled. Mike's gonna plate the inside of the frame for the other side while I strip the EFI off the engine. Tomorrow, I hope we're gonna be able to drop the engine and trans in for the last time.
We've got parts. Parts means progress.
We're going the extra mile. We're using a torque wrench, we're using a brand new clutch. Wait till you see all the fancy stuff we bolt on here. It's the classic Roadkill, great parts on bad engines and bad cars.
Indeed.
So right now, the thing is all assembled, clutch, flywheel, bell housing. It's gotta all come off to put the block plate on. Perfect.
Can't they just build something right the first time where you don't have to add shims later? If this was a Chevy, I wouldn't be taking this apart again. Son of a...
There we go, it's in. I think it's gonna go full Marlin.
It's like a trophy. The bounce frightens me. I'm just gonna back up a little bit.
Have I told you the only engine I ever dropped off a hoist was the small block Ford?
Was it using this contraption? Engine and trans are in, clutch is in. We have a drive shaft now. And we're to the point now where we can finish the other motor mount and then start bolting stuff on and mounting things to make this a real car again.
The engine is now pretty much a permanent part of the Rotsun. It's all welded in, and we're not sure that it could ever come out past those motor mounts we welded on. But we can now go on to details. Finnegan's under there dealing with the drive shaft, and I'm about to install an electric water pump, which we decided to use because I've run into problems before with the aftermarket mechanical pumps for small block Fords. There's so many different distances of them and so many thicknesses of dampers and different pulleys and stuff. We thought it would probably be easier to use an electric water pump and then figure out an alternator mount than it would to try and include the water pump as part of the pulley system. So I got the cheapest Proform electric water pump I could find.
This is the part where we take the factory manifolds, flip them upside down, and see if they actually point where they should point.
Or fit in the car or anything.
Yeah.
We didn't even try to bolt that on the head when the engine was out. I looked this up before and they were like, flip the manifolds. I've been assuming the entire time that they go upside down. The problem is because the bolt hole is not on center on the port, when you do that, we're probably making a huge exhaust leak, although we need to look into that and make sure that that's true. But what other guys have done is just put them on backwards, like this. The problem with that is it hits the motor mount we just made. I don't think it will on the other side because that one's further back, but this one is foobar. So there you go. I didn't know we had those. Flip it over and discover the badness.
Dude, this is fine.
Really?
Yeah, I think this works.
And here it comes, Miss America. You will remember this is a Ford Power Stroke diesel turbocharger, and it's got a Banks housing on it, right?
Yeah, we put a smaller exhaust housing on it, trying to make it spool quicker.
And did that work?
No, not really.
It is the wrong turbo for the job, but it is the cheapest turbo for the job because we had it.
Yeah, on the V6, you'd push the gas pedal down on Monday and it would spool on Tuesday.
Yeah.
It was that bad.
And we now know that we need to plumb it with the oil straight down because it won't relieve even at the slightest angle.
Yeah.
This is the pivotal moment that should have happened 2 days ago. We're having enough trouble fitting it in free space, much less trying to cut the entire body away for that.
Yeah, what's to say the turbo just can't go up here?
And you could use some bolt holes on the front of the head to come up and pick up the exhaust flange.
This one looks sick right here. Like, imagine this coming at you on the highway.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Let's just make it happen.
All right, okay. I'm in. Problem solved.
The rest of the night is just fiddling with all kinds of stuff. This clutch master cylinder is beating me, taking me forever just to get it mounted and deal with all the pedal linkage issues. Mike's working on the wiring. We're finally gonna have some Sano wiring in the Rotsun with this painless kit, but it's a lot to deal with. We are gonna be here a long time tonight. Got it. The intake manifold that we ordered didn't show up the day before yesterday or yesterday, so I had this in my stash. It's a Victor Jr., which is a single plane, so it's gonna kill all sorts of low-end torque. Naturally aspirated anyway, but it'll be great with turbo. Boom. So that is a 650 QFT blow-through carburetor. Brand new.
It's time to start building our turbo kit. And as usual, we don't have any of the right parts or tools to do it, so I'm going to cut that stud off and weld that directly there. Semi-permanently installing this. But I need to change the angle of these to keep them from running into the shock towers. So I'm gonna cut that off, clean the rust off, tack that on there, put that back in the car, pretend it's perfect, and then just keep building. I think this came from the Hot Rod Garage guys. Are you okay with this?
Perfectly.
Okay.
Turbo on a stick. A lot of effort for the wrong turbo for the application. You know what's gonna be amazing? When we overheat it and it blows out the radiator cap and sucks right into the turbo. Water injection.
There's alcohol in there, right?
Right, it'll be fine. We're working on the first tube off the header over here, which has to go down under the harmonic balancer, above the sway bar, over here, just clear the alternator, and up and into the turbo.
cold side's done. Driver's side of the header is done. We're finishing the passenger side right now, and we just realized that we have no flex joints in this deal, which means ultimately it's gonna crack down the road. And worse than that is, if we were to weld this tube together right now, both headers would be connected to the turbo flange and you wouldn't be able to get them off the engine. So Freiburger is gonna tack that together, we're gonna take it off, and then we're gonna install this super cheesy ball and socket muffler tubing connector that we found lying around in the shop. That'll give us the ability to take this apart and give us a little flex.
Yeah, leave the bolts loose.
A little.
I can't even believe this is happening. Final installation of this side's exhaust manifold and tube. We're now at the point in the project where all of the fun stuff is done, and tomorrow's gonna be all sorts of just boring little making stuff happen. Wiring switches, spark plug wires, junk like that. So I guess it's been a pretty good day. This is cool, but you really know you're among friends when all day long no one tells you that you have a giant hole in your armpit. Thank you, Finn. We're really, really close. I'm trying to figure out how to get a hole in a valve cover to drain the turbo back. We're finally gonna cave in and actually put a wastegate on it, which we should have been doing from the beginning. I don't know why we got lazy and decided we didn't need it, but we do. Mike finished the wiring. We have to bleed the brakes and bleed the clutch, but nothing really stops it from starting right now, except for momentum. You may recognize this wastegate from such episodes as the Rotsun Goes to Lemons. Remember we had 2 of these in the front and it actually broke out of the tube? This is the only one we have left. I don't know where the other one went. So we're gonna install one. We gotta shove these rags down there. Just about ready to fire this thing up. It's got a water leak, which should be a surprise to no one. It's got this cheapy electric water pump on it that has a plug in one side, and the threads that are tapped in the body of it barely have one thread on one side, and of course it's leaking. And it's a pain in the neck to fix. Man, last night we got a lot done. All the little nickel and dime stuff, except for just a few things. It still has a big water leak. I RTV'd that plug right now to see if that's gonna fix it or not. Couple more dinky things. We're gonna change the exhaust system. What you saw before is we had taken the side pipe that was on the Rotsun and just bolted it to the turbo, and it's in the driver's way. It's too tall, it's gonna break the turbo. So right now we're working on making it just come up to right about here, and we need some length on it so that we can put an O2 sensor on it that's coming here so that hopefully we can monitor our air-fuel ratio and not blow this thing up. That's our hope. So we got a buddy who's gonna show up with that, and then we're gonna be ready to start this thing as soon as I change that valve cover gasket. Mike's gonna wrap up that exhaust pipe, and I'm gonna take my 3rd attempt at not having the water pump leak. Yes, pouring. That is an official never buy again item. Sometimes you buy the cheapest possible thing you can to try and save some bucks, and it is not worth it.
I know this is a new engine and everything, new combo.
Yeah.
But I'm bringing back the old school.
Bringing back the hate. This cheap electric water pump is killing me. Yesterday I had to smear a bunch of RTV into one leak, and now I've got the pump out completely because I've got to access this janky outlet on one side that only has like 2 threads sealing the whole thing. So I'm gonna wrap it with like a death load of Teflon tape. If I can finally make this stop leaking, we can fire up the engine for the first time.
It's alive! It worked.
Yeah! Wow, fired right up, no drama. The only thing we have to do is set ignition timing, top up the water, and I think we're driving. Got the thing fired up, got it warmed up, and of course, the water pump is now leaking. My best friend. I hate that thing. Okay, I'm giving up. We pulled the water pump out, took the electric motor off of it, ground off all of the coating, and welded the fitting solid. If that doesn't fix it, I don't know what will. We finally got everything put together, but in classic Roadkill fashion, we're out of time and can't go for a test drive. We're gonna load this thing on the trailer and head out tomorrow morning for a thrash fest. Finally, we're out here at Camarillo Airport that gives us a big section of runway to use just for thrashing stuff. And what better way to thrash than to go wheel to wheel with the Rotsun against this 1990 Mustang GT that is bone stock. It's got a couple upgrades, but let's face it, it's junk. But it will show us how a typical 5-liter Mustang could perform compared to the same engine and transmission with a Power Stroke diesel turbo in the Rotsun. The only real question is, will the Datsun fail to fail? Or will it let us down once again? Well, we've given this our best worst effort. We're gonna go now hop in the car and find out how it runs. Finally. That door latch isn't what it used to be. Oh well. Wow.
That's first gear.
Yeah. Holding that. Oh yeah. Oh dude. Oh wow. That was 9 pounds, right where we need it to be, right? 12.7 to 1.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's pretty good.
This is success.
This outruns the V6. Definitely. Nice. Wow, it's really good. Race?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll take the bullet from
Thank
this
you.
disgusting thing.
Thank you. I'll get you a Christmas card.
This is our alternate 5-liter Mustang. Question is, did we actually improve the Rotsun enough that this swap was worthy? We're gonna find out right now. With this 5-liter that has some typical mods, it's got like a Cobra intake and BBK throttle body and some stuff like that. I don't think it's faster than the Rotsun though, but we can find out the fun way. Ready? Comes in, that thing is gone. I thought there was a chance I was ahead of you, but man, you literally just blew past me.
If it had traction, this thing would be a monster.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because it burned them all the way down, right?
I never got past 3/4 throttle.
Yeah?
Yeah. This thing's an animal.
You want to go from a roll?
Sure. Yeah, let's go from a roll.
Okay. Ready? Go! Wow! Look at this thing! What a turn! Woo! That thing's fast! This is not.
Victory donuts.
I'm not sure if this thing's a complete dog or if that's an animal.
I think we built ourselves a wiener.
This thing is slow and hideous and gross.
Ugh.
I wonder if there's anything the Mustang can outrun the Datsun in. Wonder if it handles better.
No.
No?
No. No way.
They have
There's
the same
no way
tires on them.
This pile of crap is beating this at any sport.
At anything?
Not happening.
I am gonna concede to you, but for the sake of our own entertainment, slalom drag race.
Slalom drag racing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the actual challenge going on right now is which one of these is gonna break first. That's what we got going
That
on.
is a real test.
Yeah,
to be
because
honest
the
with you.
Rotsun just wins. That thing,
This could go at any moment.
we did it right. Did you even look at the boost of the AFR? And
No.
No?
We made a thing. The thing is fast.
Yeah?
I don't need gauges.
Danger to manifold, nothing?
Nothing. Nothing. I almost threw some green washers on the floor and closed my laptop in anger, but no, I didn't. I didn't.
Let's throw some cones down.
All right. Ooh, we just invented a new race for us. I don't think we've ever done this before. We're gonna go wheel-to-wheel racing around cones, but it's a zigzag course. So both cars has to go around each cone, from there to there to there to there, around the last cone, drag race back to the beginning where you have to stop inside of a stop box. And contact is probably going to happen. Sorry, Rotsun.
3, 2, 1.
Dead. No idea. There's so many wires hanging under the dash of this thing. Here, let me see if I can fix it. There. That did it.
You fixed it.
All right, we're good. This thing is terrible.
Those are anger donuts. You do those when you get your butt kicked.
That's all this is good for. That's all it's got.
Well, it's something.
My shoelace is stuck to the fuse block that's dangling under the dash. This thing's incredibly awful in many ways.
That's an impressive display of mediocrity right there.
That thing is a shame to 5.0 Mustangs everywhere. And what's amazing is that it's actually smoking more than the Rotsun.
This still runs.
That still runs. You don't have to kick the dash to make it fire up. Rotsun wins.
It's a rare moment for the Rotsun, winning and still running afterwards.
Ooh, I know.
Ah,
Donut marathon. First car to stop loses.
okay. Okay.
This should be fun.
We're getting wet. You ready?
Yep.
I may have hydroplaned a little bit.
The Rotsun's stuck. I can't get this thing in gear. Something's not running right. Oh, it died! And the Rotsun wins! It's dead! Rotsun wins again!
I've never done mud donuts before. You know what we just made?
A mess?
Chocolate donuts.
I planned to win that, and this stupid thing wouldn't even do that!
What came off?
I don't know.
I've never hydroplaned like that bad before. As soon as it hit the water, it swapped ends, and I thought you were gonna run into me.
I know. It looks like I lost something. Is this Rotsun parts?
Oh, dude, that's the front. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, no, I think it's a turn signal off the Rotsun. I can't believe that my stupid Mustang could not even win a destruction contest. It's like so lame. I never want to see this again as long as I live. This, however, I'm now in love with. It turns out I didn't hate the car, I hated the V6. Now,
I can respect that.
we've got the 5-liter. But the question is,
Floating.
will the audience see the Rotsun again? This is the part where the Rotsun never fails to fail. This is the fail.
You can't make this. This is our life.
Go push it back in gear so I can pop it so it'll turn the flywheel a little.
Let me try. Oh, we had a grind. You were doing so good, Rotsun. You were doing so good. The moment I get out, it's gonna start up. All right, put it in gear.
Okay.
All right, well, that's it for this episode of Roadkill.
Ready?
Let it rip.
Wow, this thing is fast.
Wait, they're gonna get wet.
I know.
Oh, dude, the firewall is not sealed at all.
Support companies that support Roadkill. Buy your speed parts at jegs.com.
This is the rhythm of the night. In the bar in Toledo, across from the depot. I've had some bad times, lived through some... Are you filming?